Hello folks and welcome. In today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Now you see, I love Porsches, as you probably already know. I keep going on about them all the time. I've owned several of them and I like testing them as well too. However, I've never driven like a hot rodded modding up version of a 911, particularly a 964. Driven a couple of them, but this one I'm about to show you is very special and it's literally right here. As you can see, it looks like to you a 911 Carrera 2, but that's where it ends basically, because it's had a lot of money spent on it. For example, the brakes are from a 964 RS. The engine is no longer a 3.6 litre flat six air-cooled engine. It's now a 3.8. It makes 330 horsepower, which for a car that weighs roughly 1,200 kilos, 1,300 kilos, thereabouts, it's got a significant power to weight ratio. It also looks a little bit different as well too. This is owned by a guy called Ian from Harris Classics. Go check him out if you're interested in Porsche. So visually, it looks a little bit different to the standard 964 Carrera 2. Starting off with the wheels as well too. This is a bespoke custom design. It's magnesium, it's got titanium bolts as well too, so it's significantly lighter than the standard one. Also, inside, it's quite different as well too. So, greeted with these lovely seats, Recaro pole positions, probably the best sports track seat in the business as well too. It's also got a Momo steering wheel as well too, and most of it is standard 964, but small things like the owner wanted to change the door straps to like the ones that you get on the GT3, manual gearbox obviously, of course. It's also got a roll cage as well too, but when you start it up you get this little LCD display screen because it's got a very clever design suspension. It's got tractive active suspension, and in layman's terms it's the equivalent of a PASM system that you'd find on a modern Porsche, and it's got multiple ways of adjustment as well too. So this 964 is a bit of a Frankenstein hot rodded version that's had a lot of money spent on it. What I need to do now is see what it's like to drive. Ooh, right, here we are in the 964. Now, look at this for a key. It's quite sharp. You could juke someone up with that. Let's just hear what she sounds like. Oh, love the sound of a chattery air-cooled flat six. Immediately once you sit inside, you've got these gorgeous Recaro pole position seats, which I just adore. Alcantara wheel, a Momo steering wheel. Yeah, everything is familiar 964, but this is going to be the first raw impressions of what this is like to drive. Usually how it works is I'll go up and down a road and I'll make a few points and then turn the cameras on and tell you what it's like. But this is going to be first raw cut of my opinions and thoughts on it. So, first impressions. Clutch is quite tricky, I will be honest. It's got a race clutch and gotta be careful with it. It's lucky that I've driven a few of these and I know what they're like with a race clutch, but doing a 3-point turn or doing a hill start can be a mission, to say the least. This tractive adaptive suspension, which is basically like PASM that you could get on a modern day Porsche, it can vary between your roll, your spring rate, your damper rate, and it's also varying depending on how you drive it as well too. And so far it's mega. I'm going down a terrible piece of road at the minute and it's gliding over it. There's like 5 different mode adjustments and I'm on the softest setting right now, and it's just going over them like no one's business. It feels like a mid-sized saloon car, and I'm not chatting rubbish. This is really impressive. Gearbox, obviously, an uprated 6-speed manual from the standard car. It's easy to use. There's something about a 964 that I love, but you can actually daily drive this car with no problems. Right, second gear, let's open her up. Yeah. Hey! Yeah, I like this. I do like this. The old girl goes. It's got lovely torque low down, and there's not a step, there's just a gradual build all the way to 8,000 RPM. Yeah, that's what I call a proper engine. Yes. Beautiful. This doesn't feel like a 964 at all. It just feels like a proper hot rodded, well sorted out. You could just tell that obviously what Ian wanted from this car and how he's developed it is sort of how I would like it, to be fair. That does sound good. That does sound good. But more importantly, it still feels normal. It's not too racy, it's not too track specky. I like that. The steering, well, Porsche 911, of course, it's lovely, isn't it? It's tactile, the speed's nice, you can feel everything that's going on. It's running on the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, which obviously, as you know, is a really good. I love the dampers, and I love how you can just thread it along a country B road with such ease. 964s, if you've driven an old 964, it feels old. This feels much more modern. I've never driven a Singer, but I can imagine this is a grasp of what a Singer might be like. I don't know. I might get shouted at in the comments or Piston Ends forums, but that's what I'm thinking personally. But cool, yeah, this feels nice. And one thing I've noticed is how quickly you can cover ground in it. As I keep saying, this tractive, active suspension damper thing, wow, this feels good. This feels really good. And the lightweight flywheel and clutch just means that hill and toe is an absolute joy. Oh man. Wow, that was fun driving this 964. It's different to any other 964 I've driven, but it's nice to drive something that's been modified, that's had a lot of love, a lot of money spent on it. But more importantly, this car does get used. It's a really nice road sporty car, and to me that's more important, because majority of the time road cars are spent on the road, especially B roads as well too. So the things that I love about this car, it's the suspension. The tractive active suspension just transforms the car. It's so supple, you can go over bumps really nicely as well too. It's not really a review, this is more just me having a go in a 964 and seeing what it's like. But it's an absolute honour to drive something like this, because it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of car as well too. And it's also nice to drive a 964 that's been fettled with, that's been played with. Someone like Ian, who's obviously driven multiple 911s, you know, from the newer stuff to the older stuff. He sort of made his own, let's call it a budget Singer. Not that I know what a Singer is like to drive, maybe you never know. One day I could drive one of those. But you can almost tell that if Porsche decided to, even say the actual main manufacturer themselves, the GT department, to make an actual revived version of a 964, this would be almost what this car is like. So yeah. Also, I like 964s. I think it's my favourite 911 shape. What is your favourite 911 shape? Is it the 930s? Is it the 993s? 964s? Let me know. Let me know if you like content like this. If you have a modified car out there, please let me know. Drop an email, drop a DM on Instagram as well too. TikTok, I'm on that as well too. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, folks. See you later.